guys, welcome to the Poppy and Prim podcast. My name's Laramie. I'm coming to you from Topeka, Kansas, where I live with my husband and our two daughters, Lily and Olive. Lily is almost 4, and Olive just turned 6 months old. This is, I think, officially episode 5 or 6, but this is kind of my restart. So we're gonna call this episode 1. And yeah, so I did a few podcasts probably like 8 months ago. I was really pregnant with Olive. I stopped maybe a couple weeks before she was born, and then I haven't podcasted since. So but I wanted to get back in front of the camera and show off some of my knitting. So we're starting over. Both my girls are napping right now, so hopefully they stay asleep so I can get this done. If you see me glance down, that's just where my show notes are. So it's just, I don't stare weirdly at my feet. It's just where I got my papers. So to start off, what am I drinking? I'm actually drinking a cherry Coke from Chick-fil-A. Just a little bit about me. I work part-time out of the home, and I work part-time in the home. And we were at my day job this morning, so we just picked up lunch and came home and got the girls down for their nap. So I'm drinking cherry Coke from Chick-fil-A. So yeah, we'll get to where you can find me. So I'm on Ravelry as LaramieApp. I will make sure it's right here. And then on Instagram as LaramieApp. Again, it's going to be right here. So those are kind of where you can find me in my knitting endeavors. And we will get right into FOs. So some of my goals this year were socks. I know everybody's doing socks. Everybody does socks. Last year I had a goal of 12. I made it through 4. So 4 pairs. I was really sick with my pregnancy with Olive, and so did not make it through as many socks as I wanted to. But this year I set my goals really high and decided that I was going to do not 12 pairs of socks, but 24 pairs of socks, because I'm crazy. So I can say this is February 1st. I made it through 2 pairs of socks in the month of January. With a little funny story, not so funny for me, but we'll get into that in a minute. But I want to go ahead and just show my socks. So these are actually technically my second pair, but they were the first ones that were sitting here. So these are the Pixel Rise socks. Actually, they're Pixel Fall socks because I knit my socks cuff down. These minis are from Marianthi Yarns. I've had them in my stash for a while now. I was going to use them for my granny stripe blanket, which I will show in a little bit. And then I just saw on Instagram that there was a scrap along, and so I wanted to scrap along. So this is Woolberry scrap along, but this is Marianthi Yarns. The cuff, heels, and toes are knit out of Knit Picks Glimmer. It's got a little bit of stellina in it. I don't know if you can see that. But I found these off actually yesterday. I was only about somewhere in this purple area, and I knit the rest of the foot and the toe of my second sock. So yeah, so those are technically my third FO, because I did another pair of socks and a hat. So just a little. So here's my other pair of socks. Last year I knit a pair of these Hermione's Everyday socks, and they were just a little bit too big. I knit them, I think, on size 1 US 1s with 72 stitches, which are way too big for my tiny feet. So I was going to do another pair. This yarn is Lolo Did It's Honeydukes, which I thought was just perfect for a Harry Potter inspired sock. So I did these on size 1s, US 1s, 64 stitches though. And they're even still just a tiny little bit big. But it's okay because I love them. I did a 1x1 twisted rib. And then did about 6 inches on the leg, the heel flap like it does in the pattern, and then my foot and a rounded toe. So I did the last 2 on the second sock yesterday as well. Yeah. So there's those. And then, I don't know. Maybe. Oh, there. And then my other FO I have is a hat. This is She Rises by Riza Knits on Ravelry. She's a dear, dear, dear friend of mine, Cassandra Rosardi, and she designed a beautiful hat pattern. We just have to check it out. There's a knit along right now on Instagram for it, and this hat was so much fun to do. I did it out of Lolo Did It's Hippo for New Year's. And the only changes I did to the pattern, just because of trial and error, was I did, the pattern calls for, I think, size 7 for the rim and size 8 for the body of the hat. I actually did size 5s for the rim and 7s for the body. And I did a 2x2 twisted rib. I just really like the way twisted rib looks, so I did a twisted rib instead. And my pom-pom is just like some random acrylic that I had left over from Christmas stockings for all of this year. So I'm gonna order a faux fur for the hat for like permanent, but I needed a pom-pom right away, so that's what I had. But I love it. It's so slouchy and so cute, and I love it. And I'm definitely gonna knit some more for sure. So yeah, those are my 3 FOs. I have lots of other FOs that I finished since obviously I podcasted last, but I'm not gonna spend a lot of time like going through everything I knit for Christmas and everything I've done in the last 8 months of my life. Like, you don't probably care, so we won't get into that. But yeah, so those are my FOs that got finished pretty much yesterday on January 31st. So what does that mean for whips? I only have 2 whips. Well, 2 current whips. We will get with my sweater first. This is actually just in like a wet bag that I use for, we call it diaper olive, and so this is one of my Lila Baby wet bags. I love it. It's perfect sweater size. So this is actually one of my Make 9, which I'll get into my full Make 9 here in just a minute. But this got casted on New Year's Day. I have 2 more skeins in there. Sorry if it's crinkly. This is the Boxy by Hohi Locatelli. Love her. Haven't gotten that far because again I set my sights really high with the socks. Sorry, I'm working from 2 separate balls because this is Q Loco's Brooklyn. So I'm not too far, but you get it. This yarn is absolutely scrumptious. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So I don't know, I'm about probably 5 inches. I just moved, let's see, where's that? I moved my progress keeper this morning. I did like two rows before we went to work. So that's about what I got done in the whole month of January, which is sad. But socks kind of dominated my life. Oh my goodness. I can't find the ends. So, here's my boxy. I still have like, I don't know, 11 inches to go. But it's gonna get done. So that's one of my make nines, my first make nine of 2018. Sorry, crinkle, 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 crinkle. And my other whip is, don't judge me, because I haven't woven at any ends at all. And currently have a wall somewhere. I just started. Oh, I'm tossing needles everywhere. My granny stripe. I casted this on, or casted it, chained it, whatever you call it when you start crochet, on New Year's Day as well. These are just some scraps from socks that I had done the last year and a little bit of the year before. I'm using a size E hook, so I'm about 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm starting my 6th yarn. Here's all my ends that need to get woven in. I haven't touched this in a couple weeks, but yeah, I feel like I'm behind the times. Everybody's doing cozy memories and granny stripes and stuff, but it's a lot of fun. I love just having something I can pick up, and I have all my little, this isn't even parts of it, I have like all my little balls of leftovers from my scrappy socks in there to get added in as I get some time. So yeah, those are my 2 whips. From here, we'll move into some dream knitting / I'm casting this on as soon as I'm done / my make 9. So a little bit of this is stash enhancement. I do have quite a bit of stash enhancement. But that's just because it's been 8 months and Christmas just happened, and so some of it was stuff I got for Christmas or I purchased with money that I got for Christmas. So it looks like a lot because it is, but it's just kind of been a culmination of time and stuff. So let me get a little sip here over. So things that are getting casted on today. I'm going to go ahead and get my balls wound or my cakes wound for my 2 pairs of February socks. So those socks will be, I am participating in the hippo for holidays. So I did my hippo for New Year's with a hat. And I'm going to do hippo for Valentine's Day socks. So I got the hippo for Valentine's Day. And I got the mini Amazed to go for heels, cuffs, and toes. This is gorgeous. I love how soft and squishy it is. I think I got the 80, nope, 75, 25. So yeah. I'm not sure what socks I'm gonna knit with it. I don't think I'm gonna do a plain vanilla sock. Sorry, our heater just kicked on. I kind of like having like a plain sock and then like a textured sock going at the same time. Because I do knit my socks one at a time on 9-inch circulars, but I knit 2 different socks at the same time, if that makes sense. So I go back and forth. And I'll like make it to the heel of one sock and then make it to the heel of the other sock, put the heels in at the same time, and then work through the foot and the toes at the same time, but it's just 2 completely different socks. And so I think I'm going to do some sort of texture sock with this, but I'm not entirely sure which one yet. I have tons of them in my library on Ravelry, but if you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments below, because I love to see what everybody else has going on. So that's sock number 1 that's going to get wound here as soon as I'm done filming. And then sock 2 is, I'm going to do some self-striping Desert Vista Dye Works. I got this self-striping Zombody Built a Snowman. colorway. So I'm super excited to do a pair of just vanilla. I've seen this on Instagram and other podcasts, and I just love this little body colorways. So yeah, I'm gonna wind that up and get that started as well. That'll just be a plain vanilla sock though. And the other thing I'm gonna get wound up to start is going to be the hipster shawl that Kohi Locatelli just put out, because it is like gorgeous. And I have never knit a worsted weight shawl, but I need something that's gonna fly and not be socks. So I actually bought this yarn. It's gonna sound terrible. So I saw this yarn on Instagram and I had to have it. But I had to have it because I was gonna knit my almost 4-year-old a sweater. Well, I actually need to keep it. And I don't know, the idea of knitting a sweater for a 4-year-old out of 100% merino just seems like it's gonna get messy. And I don't know. So I think I'm gonna have to keep it, and she might be sad. But this is Fiber for the People. Taylor is amazing. I just binge watched her whole podcast in like a week. So I feel like we're besties, even though she has no idea who I am. So this is her O Merino worsted weight, 100% merino wool in the Piglet colorway. And it is this beautiful kind of dusty rose pink. And I love it. Oh my goodness. So I have 3 skeins of this, which is supposed to be the perfect amount. At least that's what Hopi told me via Instagram, which I also felt like I was like, what? Hopi is replying to my Instagram comment. You know, fangirl. So those are getting wound as soon as I'm done filming. So yeah, those are my plans for now. So I'm going to keep working on my sweater, and then the shawl, and then those 2 pairs of socks. So on to my Make 9. So for my Make 9, I actually had 7 knitwear and 2 sewing patterns. So I'm not going to get into the sewing patterns yet because it's not going to happen for probably a few more months. It's really hard for me to get my sewing machine out. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment, so I have to store all my crafty stuff in a storage closet and get it out, and it's like an all-day affair. So I'm not going to get into my sewing patterns yet. They're more summer dresses. If you're interested in seeing them, check out my Instagram. But I will go ahead and tell you what my Make 9 knitting goals were. So the first one is a portage, the portage cardigan. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's kind of, I don't know, warm, cozy. I don't know, it just feels like it's going to be so cozy. I think it's DK, maybe. It's been a while since I actually looked at the pattern. But I'll post a picture or whatever. So the portage is on my list. I want to do a Sunset Highway. Oh my gosh, that sweater is just gorgeous. I cannot wait. I haven't quite figured out what yarn I want to invest in for that yet. So, and then, so, I'm sure there's a picture. The Weekender, of course, Andrea Mowry, I just can't even get enough of hers, because pretty much 3 more of my things are from her. Well, 2 more. I want to do the May top, so I'm going to save that kind of for the summer. It's like a short sleeve top. I've never knit a top. This is my first sweater, so I'm kind of excited to have like an actual like knit top. I've just done socks and hats and shawls and dishcloths and Christmas stockings, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to have some garments. So I'm going to do the May top. And then I'm working on my boxy already. And then I want to do the Kodakos shawl, I think is what it's called. I'll make sure I post a picture here. It's my color blocked almost. It's got some like little fringe. I love fringe. So that's on my list. And I'm going to do a find your fade. I know, again, I'm behind in the times because everyone was fading last year, but I'm going to do it. I actually, my fade I ordered should be here today. I was hoping it was going to come yesterday, but post office, you know. So it'll be here later, and I will post a picture in the stash enhancement segment of it, so you can see what it looks like. So we will just go ahead and move on to stash enhancement because I got quite a bit. Obviously, all the stuff I just mentioned, as well as we'll get into this. So this is the saddest cake you've ever seen. Don't judge me. So this came from Stray Cat Socks, all the way from New Zealand. This is called Parchment. It's a self-striping sock yarn. And the cake looks terrible, but don't judge me. So I got that self-striping yarn. I got her Christmas colorway. I did order it before Christmas thinking it might get here for Christmas, and it didn't, which is fine, because then I'll just have it for next year. Joyous, Joyix, Noel is this one. Christmas. So there's that one. I'm excited to see how these all stripe out. And this one has a little bit of story. So this is another one. This is called Beatrix. And Beatrix was actually my first sock I started for January. And I got all the way through to the heel of the first sock. And I tried it on, and I realized I had got my stitch count off. Because I knit 2 different stitch counts based on if I'm using a US 0 or a US 1. So I knit 64 stitches on a US 1, or, no, 64 stitches on a US 0, or 56 stitches on a US 1. And I was knitting 64 stitches on a US 1. And it was way too big. So I frogged the whole sock. So yeah, that's why it's like all wound weird. But they'll get knit again. So there's that. I just was like, no, you're going in timeout for a little bit because I couldn't do it at that time. Just picked a different yarn and started something different. So we will get into, I have one more Desert Vista Dye Works that I got. This is her Christmas one, Zombody's Kissing Santa Claus. So I'm excited to have a few pairs of Christmas socks next year. So there's that one. I got one more from Cube Loco, along with my sweater quantity for my boxy. I got one of the Twisted Sister sets. This one is I think this one's the Little Sister. Don't quote me. I don't know. It's beautiful. This is on the Stellina base. And I do think I'm actually going to knit the girl from the grocery store in these. Just not yet. So, I've got that. I've got a few more Lolo Divots. So I have one of her Barely There collection in the Lagoon colorway. It's got these beautiful speckles. This one will probably be socks too. And I got this Vamos a la Playa, which is also probably going to be some spring socks. loved it. I had to have it. So there's those. I also, again, up late night, feeding the baby, and Instagram just takes all my money because all these people post beautiful skeins of yarn in the middle of the night. I just can't help myself and I go and buy it. So I got this from Blank and Stella, 3 skeins, Moldy Peaches. Oh my goodness. I just can't. It's gorgeous. It's got like this kind of chartreusey green, peach with these speckles. Guys, seriously. Take all my money, all of it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I thought maybe I would use it in my Sunset Highway sweater as the body portion, but I haven't really I haven't really found the coordinating colors, if that makes sense, for the rest of it. So I'm kind of just hoarding it for a while. I'm like rubbing my face on it. So yeah, there's that. And then I have one more set to show you, and then I will put in my my Find Your Fade picture at the end. So this one's from Yoshi and Lucy. This gradient. Again, late night Instagram, and I just could not even. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. If anybody has any recommendations for 5-color fades, please let me know in the comments below, because this has to. I so want to cast something on with it, but I want it to be perfect. So this one is Twitter pated. It's kind of a light peach, and this one is Aloha, Georgia Peach, and Vortex. This is the last one. Oh my goodness. It's gorgeous. I just like hold it and smell it. So yeah, that is my yarn. I got a couple new bags that my socks were living in and will continue to live in, probably. I bought this one with the intention of using it for all my hippo for the holidays. So it's the hippo with the pizza, and I love it. And then I also got one of her, these are Lolo Did It's. I got her bee one. My husband is in school currently, and he is getting ready to start his master's in entomology, and so we are big bug people, and I just had to have the bees. So those are my couple new bags. All the other bags I use are just like either ones I've sewn myself, like this one. We had some technical difficulties, so anyway, so most of my bags I've either sewn them myself. So this is just a sock sack, or I keep them in like old Vera Bradley bags. I'm super fancy. So the only other stash enhancement I've really done is I've actually ordered some bear yarn and some dye. I'm gonna try my hand at dyeing a little bit myself, so I'm pretty excited about that. I just wanted to kind of play around with it a little bit. I got my degree in art, and so I just find the idea of like color theory and yarn like so fascinating. So in the next few months I really want to give that a try. But yeah, so pretty much that's kind of what I got. I don't know. Other than knitting, I've just been working, and I guess I'll fill you in a little bit on a day in the life. So my husband got into grad school, so we're just kind of prepping for that. Busy at work. I haven't been baking a whole lot. If you're new to the podcast, I run a baking business out of our home. But I kind of took a step back when I was really pregnant with Olive, and so I haven't really gotten back into it very much. It's just hard to balance with 2 kids, to be honest. So, yeah, but we're doing good. We're busy. I am really excited to see how things will grow and change as the year goes on with us moving, and yeah, so but I think that's all I have. I really want to keep this short today, so thank you for spending some time with me. If you are interested in seeing more, please leave me a comment below, or give me a thumbs up, or subscribe. I am looking at probably podcasting every 2 weeks. Right now, that's kind of my goal. We'll see how it goes with the girls. Like, some days are a lot harder than others. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But that's my current plan, is to podcast every other Thursday and have it out by the following Monday. As far as like editing and getting everything put together. So that's my plan. Keep an eye out for some rebranding. I'm changing my podcast name a little bit. I felt really bad that my podcast was named after Lily and Olive came around, and I just felt like they both needed to be represented. So I'm gonna do a little bit of rebranding, and yeah, so just keep an eye out for that. And yeah, so I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'm gonna go wind some yarn, and we'll see you again in a couple weeks. Thank you.